Well, there's a lot of people coming up stage. Sean, do you want to come up first and do a bit? Sean is one of my favourite people in the world, probably for a lot of people in this room as well. And not only because of the aesthetic fabulousness, but, she's just generally a very groovy person. So, Sean, I'm going to hand over to you now, darling, and you're going to take over, okay?
Great.
I'll move these seats around for you so they're a bit neater.
Yeah, because I'm a walker. First, thank you so much, Luke, for the stitch-up of giving us the graveyard slot.
It's a headline.
Let me just check that this is going to work. Oh, perfect. Right. I want to reassure everybody first. This is not going to be a downer. This is not about making you feel guilty. This is not about... all of this today has been about how can you sell as much stuff as possible. And now here's someone who's going to talk about impact. And is it going to be a downer? Is it going to make you feel guilty? No, what we want today is we want to inspire you all that you can not only sell stuff, but you can also sell really good stuff and you can feel really great about what you're doing. And maybe what else can you be doing with your business? How can something go right the way through to the very core of everything that you're doing? So my name is Sean Sutherland. I'm an entrepreneur, been involved in many different businesses, from restaurants, packaging design, there's an irony there. And then more recently, I co-founded and ran a skincare brand. So I have lived Steve's roller coaster of being an entrepreneur and the highs and the lows, and then a little bit up, then a little bit down again. And then when I was exiting our skincare brand, I was asked to consult the Hong Kong board of some documentary filmmakers. And they were making a documentary, first one ever made, about plastic in the ocean. And it took them 8 years to make, which was terrible. It took them 8 years to make, but also amazing because the world wasn't ready. So I got involved and had this very, very rapid epiphany of what we are doing and we continue to do every single day. And then I just wondered, when I was no longer being a plastic sinner, pumping out millions of bottles myself, I wondered, was there a way of creating a different kind of business that was not a charity, not an NGO, but something that helped the world ignite and inspire them, really, to turn off the plastic tap. So that's what I do now. And anybody, including Mike with your sachets, wherever you are, come and talk to me if you think it's impossible to wean yourself off plastic. So I wanted to just set the scene a little bit for my amazing panel, all of whom are building and working with extraordinary brands that have that purpose at their very soul. So let's get back to where it started. And this is just a snapshot. When most of you were little twinkly stars in the sky, Milton Friedman, very, very famous economist, and his practices, his principles are taught right now, and these guys will know them very well. He famously came out and said the sole purpose of business is to reward shareholders, stakeholders, with profit. So that's the only real purpose of business. And this has been the mantra. This is how business has been built for 50 years. And then very recently, and for me personally, in the world that I'm in now, in August 2019, it was very exciting that this enormous group called the Business Roundtable, and this is the Jeff Bezoses and all of those guys, got together and said, it's time to redefine the purpose of business. And when they released this statement, which was super long, but this is the nub of it, and you look at, suddenly there were 5 different stakeholders, including the environment, and shareholders and profit were actually at the end of that line. So it was much more about community, it was about your staff, it was about your suppliers, and it was definitely about the environment, but profit was number 5. So if they do it, then that would be amazing. And I wanted to have a little look at some words that we all use all the time. And how many times have we used that word consumer only today? Everybody. We call ourselves consumers. There's a big drive now to refer to ourselves not as consumers. I don't want it just to be a thing that I'm sold to the whole time. Now we talk about we want to be citizens. And it struck me it'd be interesting to look at what is the etymology of the word consumer? Where does it even come from, where it's so rife today? And it's actually a 15th century word that means this, which is kind of telling, to squander or to waste. And what we want to be is this, of course, citizens. We want to contribute, we want to belong. So businesses today, I believe, and I think many of you guys believe here, are built in a very different way. You don't just pump a brand out. You don't really perhaps think of product first. I think smart businesses today, the valuable businesses of tomorrow, are going to be built in this way. And it's about what is the movement? What is the purpose? What is the absolute why for that business to exist rather than just sell stuff? And what is the community? And obviously today we've been talking a lot about this online community, but online and offline. What is your tribe that you're going to be so relevant to? And then, of course, you're going to be digital first because smart brands are. And then you slide your brand in. But if you think about it in that way, of what is the movement that you are joining, what are you part of, then instantly you've got a community. And you're going to communicate them via digital. And then you can sell them stuff. This, I think, is one of the great brands of now. And I love Tony's Chocolonely. Does anybody know Tony's Chocolonely? Anybody love Tony's Chocolonely? And why do you love it? Somebody tell me why they love it.
Tastes great.
Great. And that's got to be the first thing, hasn't it? Otherwise, who's going to buy it twice? Does anybody know why the chunks of the bar of Tony's Chocolonely are different shapes? All uneven, like a crisscross. It's because they did it to say there is no equality in the world of cocoa production, and therefore we're not going to give you equal chunks in your bar until there is. And what I love about this brand, though, is it's not worthy, it's not green, it doesn't make me feel bad. It's a celebration. This statement, party at the front, business at the back, came from the CEO of Tony's Chocolonely. So I love that it's no longer just about guilt that makes you buy stuff. We live in a world of this as well. You will be well aware of it. Huge amount of hype, greenwash. This word sustainability, nobody knows what it really means. There's blue wash, which is all about, talking about oceans. And all of it is pretty much hogwash because nobody is doing anything. But just be aware, legislation is coming. In France already, you cannot make claims that you can't substantiate. So this, which was 31st of October, so super recent, it's coming like a train. If you say you do anything, you have to do it. Otherwise, you're going to be breaking laws. So I'm going to introduce my panel now. And what I've always said is, as an entrepreneur, where we've never had enough money, if you don't have deep pockets, you've got to have deep soul. And every person I'm going to invite onto stage now has amazing deep soul. So first, can my panel please come up? Shall I go at the end? I'll go at the end. And here, take this mic. We've all got a mic?
We've all got a mic.
You've got so many mics.
Too many mics. Anyone want to join us? We've got a spare mic.
Now, is this in your way, this screen? Because it's been in my way all day. So if I do that, will it still work? It's been really annoying me. Great. So I'm going to ask my panel to introduce themselves. Unfortunately, we don't have Jane. She's had a family situation, but we've got more than enough. I'm also very aware that we are the things that are between you and free beer. So luckily, I've got a very entertaining panel. Tracy, tell us a little bit about yourself and your experience in this whole issue of purpose.
Purpose? Well, I think that maybe I should just start with my own personal life. So my purpose in life, born at 26 weeks, weighing £1 13 ounces, was to survive. So I think that in today's world, we're all looking, and that's in 1966. So I'm 56, divorced twice, have a tortoise and a dog, and have worked for many beauty brands in the last 36 years. So I want to keep this really light-hearted about me. But what I've had the good fortune to do is to evolve and develop many brands in the last 36 years. And I think where I really first discovered purpose was working with Horst Rackelbacker at Aveda. because he was trying to do something back in the 90s that nobody else was doing. And then I was fortunate enough prior to that to work for Donna Karan, who again was doing something completely different to, first of all, she was canvassing for the first woman to be president, which, still hasn't happened. But these individuals had a different perspective and a different vision and a different desire to succeed. And thankfully, throughout my whole career since then, I've been part of repurposing brands, which has been an absolute joy.
Thanks, Tracy. And moving on to Hannah at Oddbox, one of my favourite brands.
Hi, so I'm Hannah. I'm the acquisition manager at Oddbox, which is basically just a fancy title to say that I look after growth in the company. So looking at growing the company in a sustainable way. And we have grown very quickly. And to do with our purpose, I'm not too sure how many people have heard of Oddbox. Yeah, amazing. To do with our purpose, just to give you a brief introduction, we rescue fruit and veg that would otherwise have gone to waste. So that fruit and veg may have been too big, too small, too ugly, too wonky is probably what you've heard of us most for. But more often than not, just simply surplus fruit and veg, because so often this fruit and veg, or all food globally, goes to waste. And this is at the farm stage, so before it even gets to your house. So we rescue that and we package it up and we send it to you. And by rescuing that, we also save all the resources that would go into making it. So at the moment, actually, food waste makes up 10% of all global greenhouse gases, which is huge, and people simply don't know it. So that's what Oddbox does, and I look after the growth of Oddbox.
Lovely, thanks so much. And turning to you, Nicola, tell us a little bit about Mover and why you're doing what you're doing.
So, hi, I'm Nicola. I'm running this small, independent Swiss, privately owned company called Mover Sportswear. And we recently declared war to plastic, and that's why I know you, Sean. And when we declare war to plastic, it means that we declare war to the textile industry, because 70% of our clothes are made of textiles, and to the entire sportswear industry, because almost 100% of the sport garments we wear are made of plastics. And lots of people do not know that. What is interesting in our case is that we come from a performance-oriented perspective. We were a skiwear company doing technical ski garments made out of synthetics, polyamide, polyester, Gore-Tex. And within the last 10 years, we implemented step-by-step natural fabrics into the collection, not because of an ecological perspective or request, but because we were looking for more performance. And what we call performance when we are skiing is to be able to go further, to go higher, to go colder, or to go more into the effort before sweating, because the worst when you're in a mountain or trapped in a mountain is to get warm, because once you get warm, you get wet, and once you get wet, you get cold. So we were looking for this breathability, thermal regulation that garment can give you, and we discovered that natural fabrics were actually much better than synthetic ones. And that's why we founded Mover Plastic-Free Sportswear, which we launched a month ago.
Great, thanks so much. So Hannah, I want to turn to you and Oddbox. And it's so great that nearly everybody here knows Oddbox. And for me, you've got such a lovely tone of voice as a brand. And many people try and emulate that. And you have a very ethical core, everything that you're about. And here you are in a D2C model, in a subscription model. How easy is it for you to retain the ethics? What kind of guardrails have you put up within your business so that you're in charge of customer acquisitions? How can you do this in a way that feels true to Oddbox?
Yeah, thank you. And yeah, we have some amazing teams and amazing people that really help us with that. But I think if we look at kind of how we've grown and how we've managed to do that in quite a genuine way, I think we go back to the fact that kind of one of our core brand pillars is education and educating people about food waste and doing it in a light-hearted way and the genuine way that you may have seen, because it's quite a heavy issue. And actually, not many people really know about food waste. I'm not too sure if any of you guys know too much about food waste and how it impacts the environment. But actually, if food waste were a country, it would be the third biggest emitter of greenhouse gases, behind only the US and China, which is huge. But actually, it's not even being talked about at COP26 this week or in Glasgow. No one's really talking about it. So what we do is we want to introduce this to our customers. And we find that when we introduce this to our customers, we have a great community, which you were talking about, and that community have really helped us grow as well. So that community will reach out and tell other people about that message. And we've actually found that that word of mouth marketing, or our referral marketing, has been one of our biggest growers. So even this far down the line, referrals is our biggest channel that we use to grow. And you may have seen our out-of-home marketing. I don't know if anyone's seen our tube ads recently. Our tube ads have been great, but what they've done is we've actually seen a huge increase in referrals off the back of them, because we just get people talking about our brand and talking about our mission as well. And that really helps us to grow, but also grow in a genuine way.